All right, just checking. Cause last time I was trying to flip through my slide and then it cut off. Sorry, guys. Hello, how are you guys? It is Tuesday, May 26th, 2026. I'm just going to give you guys just an update on how I'm doing. And again, today is post holiday. All right. Okay, so I have a lot of work to do after the hefty loss I took on the 21st. Since this account is in the funded phase, I believe the timer's blocking some of the. What a shame. A limit except for the inactivity penalty. I plan to just scalp 16 ticks on A plus setups, potentially trading the Asian session at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, which is 2:30 a.m. in Spain. And I could do my trade analysis at night and park my trades before I go to sleep. Now today, I'm kind of in an emotional state because today I don't have any strategy. Um, I don't have any data, for today. So I'm just kind of going on a whim here. As you can see, yesterday I made a nice little return, $39. The futures market was open for half day, and I was able to. Now one thing that I would like to speak about is thinking about trading the Asian session as well, the Asia Open specifically, as well as the U.S. Open. I don't know exactly how that's going to turn out, but it's something that I'm considering. I tested it out. It's pretty cool too for me that if I can do my analysis at night when the kids are sleeping and before I go to bed, I can park my trades for the Asia session. And when I wake up to see my execution, now I'm sleeping. So I don't have the tendency to feel like, I need to manually get in and get out of the market or re-enter the market. I don't have all these distractions because I am sleeping. And the first time I did it, um, it was pretty cool. I did it early Monday morning. Parked the trade for the Asia session, and when I awoke, it panned out. I was successful. It took a little while to execute. I mean, it was a holiday, Memorial Day, so maybe there wasn't a lot of volume going on. It took 19 minutes for that trade to execute, but it executed and it felt good too. I'm like, wow. Then came the U.S. session, and I took a couple of trades there as well, and those worked out. Today is post holiday. I don't have any fresh data, so technically today's a no trade. But as we're gonna see, I've been trying to trade my funded futures account, which is in the funded stage, by the way. Been trying to trade that. I already took one loss on that $85 loss. Now I'm just in the moment of jumping in and out. So in a complete emotional state, not the best state to be in at the moment. And we've already talked about this, the psychological part. So yes, kind of on tilt a little bit. But yes, I was trying to bounce back with this my funded account from that hefty loss that I took on Thursday. Like I said, being overconfident, having a strong conviction that the trade was going to play out. I went in there, upping my leverage, upping my risk, and I turned out to be wrong. And so it hurt me really bad. So, yeah. All right. I applied my NinjaTrader competition cash reward to my personal account. Now I have access to Sim, Market Replay, and a little cash to trade. Today I took a small scalp at the U.S. Open. Now this is also talking about Monday, yesterday. Today I took a small scalp at the U.S. Open because I didn't want to take on too much risk. One MES contract for 12 ticks netting $13.38. This brings my balance to $113.38. The competition is incredibly generous. It's completely free to enter, and even 130th place receives $100 out of 9,845 participants. Interestingly, I finished in the top 0.57%, meaning I outperformed about 99.43% of the field. My strategy from the start was to check what the 130th place trader had. My goal wasn't to be number one or even top three, but simply stay comfortably within that top 130 bracket. I held my positions with conviction, instead of jumping in and out of the market, I stuck strictly to what I know. While we could trade gold, oil in a forex pair, I traded MES and MNQ, the S&P and Nasdaq. You're only limited to 3 micro contracts each. Once I was fortunate enough to reach a comfortable target, have a substantial P&L, I closed the trade and stopped entirely. The goal was to avoid trading myself out of a winning placement. While thousands of participants were likely obsessing over reaching number 1, I watched my rank advance even when I wasn't doing anything, because other traders were constantly chipping in and out, flipping long and short. They ended up losing. This disciplined approach advanced me straight into the final round, though I know the finals will be tough. Qualifier 2 starts tomorrow, which is today. I could use another account to enter, which I did. So at 9:30, I can trade. I will be participating in the qualifier 2 with a different account. But those traders are going to have a rough time considering it's the day after market holiday. We'll see how it goes. I'm already having a rough time, but this is just with my funded futures account, and we'll see how things are at the open. All right, so this was my performance. You can see there on the right side where my rank was 56 out of 9,845. I had a total P&L. This was a one-day competition. I had a total P&L of $3,462.40, and that's what happened. Once I was on the right side of the market, for that swing or for that nice little trend, I say, okay, 3,000, 3,400, 4,000 is good enough for me. There's no reason to try to ask for more. Already I'm kind of outside my limits as far as strategy and structure and timing and placement. Like I'm a scalper. So I just exit out of the market and just, have myself in a comfortable spot, to withstand people, coming in and out of the rankings and stuff. So that was pretty cool. And then you could see at the bottom here, these are your hosts of NinjaTrader. And it goes back to me saying that we like to watch live streams. We like to watch hosts. We learn from these traders. Some people are familiar with Lumi traders. But when you put them in a live environment, right? These are the people that have thousands and thousands of subscribers. They offer some coupon. They are affiliated or sponsored by prop firms and so forth, whatever. And when you put them in a live competition, because this happens a few times a year, they never get in the top 100. I think Selma was the closest, got within the top 200 or 300. So, take it with a grain of salt, but just because they're under a reputable brand like NinjaTrader, or they may have 1,000 subscribers, doesn't mean that they're profitable. Doesn't mean that. Because when it comes time to show yourself at an equal footing, everybody starts at the starting line. There's no way that you can manipulate it. There's no way that you can have a demo screen open or whatever. It's just everybody starts at the starting line. When the gun goes off, everybody goes. They tend to never really perform. And I've participated in a few of these competitions. They don't perform. So really take these people with a grain of salt. They're more so of a media segment. They may have personal accounts where they trade and stuff like that, but this is media. This is content. And sometimes we can think that they're like professional traders, and they're not. You see. So anyways, that was just, that's eye-opening to me. And there's other people on here. Like when I saw XYZ, who people say, oh, he's the GOAT, he's the best. And then when you put him in a competition where you all have to start at 9:30, they can't perform. Now, when they come on to the show, all of a sudden, magically, they're in a profitable trade. they're up 1,000, 3,000. I don't know how to do it. Maybe there's some manipulation involved and how it appears to us. But when there's a tournament, they don't perform. They don't perform. This were the products that we were allowed to trade and the position sizes. And I just stuck with what I knew, MES and MNQ. All right. So the qualifier 2, like I said, I was able to register for qualifier 2. And today is after the holidays, which is not the best time to be trying to trade. Because from the, most people say, oh, the stock market was closed. Yeah, some components of the stock market, like you may not been able to trade options and stuff like that, but the futures market was in fact open. So you have some complexity, you have a conflict there, and there could be like some, your strategy that you thought coming away from Friday, heading into the weekend, may not necessarily be apparent today. Like, I don't think there's going to be a bullish trend higher today. Yesterday was that opportunity. The market was up 1% on Memorial Day. The analysis that I did somewhat supported, a bullish open, more or less at the open. Today, most people are probably coming in thinking that it's going to be a bullish trend today. I don't think so. But we'll see. Currently, this is where I'm at. Like I said, I try to, trade outside. I saw a small little momentum, going on. I don't know where it was at. And I thought I could catch a nice short. Just for a quick scalp. Never really happened. Then it bounced higher. Then it started to come back down. So I re-entered into a short position, but lost $85, probably more in doing so. So, yeah, you don't want to do that. Might as well just wait to the U.S. Open,